Oh, hi. I think, yes, I am live, and I've been live for 11 seconds. Okay. Person Detcha. Hi, Crystal Isabella. Hey, can you hear me okay? Can you let me know in the comments? Okay, I lowered you guys a little bit. What you're seeing there is that folding clothesline, which I started to put away, and then I decided to make tea and got distracted. All right, and the camera's still adjusting. Oh, good. Okay. Because guys, I'm using something called StreamYard. There is a link below, and you get a discount, I think. Actually, the link isn't below yet, but you get a discount if you use my link, and it's what a lot of YouTubers use to live stream. It gives like I could put, in fact, here I'll do it. I can put comments up, and in YouTube itself, you can't do that. And this is just the free version actually that I'm using. So yeah, person Detcha, which I guess is hello. I get that frozen thing, like you know something, and then when you go to say somebody and they're looking at you, you're sort of like, ah, and then I just say, hey, and they're like, oh, she's American. And D Walker, hey D. And so yeah, I'm looking down at my here. Well, what will you see? You'll see the kitchen, which will look messy. You probably saw some water bottles because that's one thing with, oh, what did I just do? You guys, I turned the wrong camera. I don't think you saw through here. Um, yeah, I'll show you my messy kitchen. Here, let me turn it around without. You see a lot of water bottles because water is an issue. Water is an issue in Vlora. I want to say the water's been out maybe 4 times so far, but I think they really are getting it ready. They're upgrading. They genuinely are upgrading. Someone told me they were putting in fire hydrants because there weren't fire hydrants, which of course, anyway, we won't go on a tangent. I have questions. So you can also add your questions in the live chat. Okay. So here we go. All right. So I have your questions. And if you're new here, it's Viv, aka the Quiet Broad Abroad, and taking your questions on Albania. Mind you, I've been here maybe a little over a month now, or maybe just a month. Yeah, no, a little over a month. And also, so arrival, that type of thing. Also, your move abroad questions, slow travel. Definitely have done that. And that's, I can talk about that. But I have questions from Lucille Shelton. Thank you, Lucille. From Farida. And also from Solo Traveler. They asked sort of the same question. So I have about 6 questions. Okay. So this is going to be taking your questions. So I'm psyched about that because I've had other channels where I like, what are your questions? And I don't, they're just like, oh, we just want you to come on and like talk to us or lead a meditation. But you guys are interactive. So genuinely, thank you for that. I really appreciate that. So yeah, it's a beautiful day outside, guys. And I think I've tried this before. I might just take you outside really briefly. I'm looking down at my laptop because that's where I see myself and that's where I see your comments. So that's why it seems like I'm looking down a lot. Um, yeah, I think I can take you out. I don't think it will disconnect. And we did this before. So it's a gorgeous sunny day. So I'm going to take you out and then we'll come back and we'll do the questions. Okay. All right. So hang on. I'm going to lift you up. So get ready. Let's see. Okay. All right. Yeah, no need to bring this like right up on my face. Sometimes I forget. Okay. Hopefully you can slip the. And yeah, we did this. Hold on, guys. I told you about my struggles with these doors, right? Okay. Can you see me now? Okay, yeah. All right. So let me kind of listen. Here, I think cleaning up for you guys. like you can want to visit me and I can straighten up. Okay. So that's what we got today. Out at and yeah, it's a gorgeous today. I think it feels fine here, but I think it's on down on the asphalt. That's water is improved. Yeah, give you another little peek through there. It's kind of really nice. I believe that island you can see is what Mr. Trump wants to purchase. I believe. Okay, let's come back in. Okay. I'll close the door because it's pretty noisy. Yeah, it's pretty noisy. All right. So, oops, climbing up on a sofa like I normally would. Okay. Oh, wow. So somehow the color looks better now. I'm not sure why. It looks like the camera adjusted to the brightness for me being outside. Hold on. I got to put you guys back in the tripod. There we go. How's that feel? Does that feel better? Okay, now it went back to a little duller again, but it looks like it adjusted up when I was outside, like it boosted. So yeah, who else is here? Say hi. Ah, yes, Crystal. Krista, Isabella. You have asked a great question. Who else here? One of the very, very few words I know in Albanian, yes. Yeah, Persendecha. Persendecha. I tend to have good pronunciation, but I haven't really practiced. So if I if I took Albanian, like in Italian, my pronunciation is good. I mean, my grammar will be horrible, but my pronunciation, then people think that I know more than I do because I sound like I know what I'm doing. But all right. So let's get to your questions. Oh, and so channel members, many of you are here. Today would have been the day for our second broad circle. Like I had promised to do it twice a month. Our first session was lots of fun. I really want to thank those of you. I think there's about 7 or 8 or 9 somewhere in there. So you can still click the join button. Though interestingly, if you happen to be watching me from Albania, you won't see a join button because I think I'm 99% sure Albania for some reason doesn't have, because I couldn't find the join button and I was in a private like window to see it because I wanted to see something that I had set up. So I think Albania is not, the membership isn't open for them for YouTube channels, which kind of sucks. It's not for all countries. YouTube is not totally equal in different countries. So, but if you're in the US, become a member, or the UK or Canada, okay? If you're a woman 50-ish and up who's interested in slow travel and moving abroad, it is open to all women. I want to create a space where we can connect and you might meet a friend. You might end up having like a travel buddy. I was recently looking at Tunisia. I don't know. Tunisia is on my radar. And yeah, you may meet somebody in the broad circle who's like, wow, I've always wanted to go, or, you know, or Spain or this some part of Spain or something. And so, yeah, it's just a safe space we can connect, exchange info. And we also talk about your plans if you haven't, um, left yet and you just have questions. So it's a supportive group. Okay. First question. Do you feel like you do you feel like you have a supportive community on the ground? This is my chicken scratch, people. Chicken scratch. Okay. With writing like this, I could have been a physician. Okay. I could have written prescriptions that no one could read. Okay. So that was from Lucille, Farida, and Solo Traveler. Do you feel like you have a supportive community on the ground? I do. I do. Now, the reason it's quiet broad abroad, I didn't want to put loner broad abroad, hermit broad abroad, didn't have the same ring. So I definitely have, and I definitely could do more. So I have tapped into groups, and I can tell me if you want me to talk more about that. Some of it's a little not sensitive, but I'm really trying to consider how to say stuff because, again, this is a very public forum. But yes, I had joined Facebook groups for Albania, and then I also joined for separate towns. And so that was the main way. But again, here's what I'm going to share with you. Now, this is just me. Okay. This is just me. You may not be like this. Um, so, two things. Again, being a person of color, being a Black woman, this is a little bit easier for us because if I see another Black person, I'll just be like, hey, or I there's this woman wearing a caftan. I never figured out who she was. She always looked just fabulous in like flowing caftans, head wraps, jewelry, just doing a whole vibe. And we would just nod. She would continue her stroll very elegantly, and we'd nod, and I don't know who she was because we both have the sense of we're just on our walk and we don't really have to stop and speak to each other. But so if you are from an ethnic group and you're in the town, to answer your question, because I feel like some people would miss this, but you just, because you're relatively rare in the country, and I don't just mean Albania, wherever you are, you just say hi, nod, and you might have a conversation. One woman who I met, we ended up doing like a road trip, a group of us, and I'll have photos. Um, African American woman from the US, and she came up to me and asked me a question. She wasn't sure if I wasn't somebody else, and I says, "No, I didn't do that." She's like, "Were you with this thing?" And I said, "No, that wasn't me." But then I was like, "So is there somebody that looks like me?" Anyway, and yeah, and so first start with general groups. And then if you're in a subgroup, look for the subgroup and you will find, and sometimes people have like a private, like they'll have a WhatsApp group. Um, so it's not hard. And again, that's saying, as a Black woman, if you're not Black, well, anyway, listen, like I said, this is how I am. I saw a woman in the supermarket. I shared the story. I could just tell she was American. And, I didn't care her ethnicity at that point. I was like, "Oh, an American." So I just went up to her and we had a lovely conversation. She wasn't like, "Who are you?" When you travel, you guys, and this is something that I really like, okay, that I think is beautiful. Not all of you may vibe with it, there are people on both extremes, but when you travel, more so you'll feel more united abroad than you'd feel in the country. So she was really lovely. She told me a restaurant to go to. She told me don't shop at the supermarket because it's expensive. Because I said this is expensive. Anyway, so it was just a lovely interaction, and I went up to her because she, in her appearance, and I was right, she was an American, and I needed to speak some English that day. Okay, so that's how I do it. And then, like I said, so get in Facebook groups, and then if you want to niche down further, okay, you see somebody, you know, and you talk to them, and then you just, there you go. I hope that was helpful. That wasn't weird. I know for some of you that would be weird, and others of you were like, "No, I totally get what you're saying." Right? So take a little risk. Like if she was an Albanian woman, she would just turn to me and be like, "What? Why do you think I speak English?" And you didn't, Um, but yeah, I guessed right. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. We look different. Most American Albanians have a very distinctive look. Of course, sometimes I could be wrong. The men have a very distinctive look, even their haircut. An American couple that I met, we were talking about that. The men have a certain haircut, the younger men, certain look. The older men have a certain look. The older women have a certain look. And so anybody who breaks that pattern, they're not Albanian. All right. So yes, that's my first one. Let's see. I'll take it. D. I'll put your question up. We didn't get to it last time, but do you plan on staying there for the 1 year visa? Great question. Let me jump to answer that. It's a good question. It really is. So I knew that Vlora, you guys wouldn't be. I knew I didn't want to settle in Tirana or Vlora. Like I knew that. So know yourself, because this isn't just about me. I want it to be helpful for you. Know yourself, whether you're moving to France or Spain or wherever. Know yourself. And so in America, I don't live in beach towns, right? I don't, so like I said, I came for that view, which you can see It's not showing the color of the ocean really well, but you saw it when we went out. It's a beautiful blue. I really just came here. It's one of the larger cities, and I wanted the ocean and the serenity of the ocean. So, if I find a city or a town actually that I like, then absolutely, Dee, I will go for the. Well, it's not even a 1-year visa. Let me correct. It's no, you guys, any of you watching this, male, female, whatever, American citizen, you can stay for 1 year. There is no visa. It's just no questions asked. And this could change at any time given shenanigans that go on. So if you are an American citizen, you have an American passport, you can land in Albania and stay for 1 year. At this point, as I'm recording this, and it has been like this, I think for several years, if not longer. Obviously, I don't know, way back. I didn't research it, but so it's visa free. It's yeah, there's no visa. There was nothing. I mean, even to go into the UK, you have to fill something out. And I think for the EU, it's ETIAS or something. Um, right now for Albania, it's just you land and you can stay for up to 1 year visa free. Now, so if I see a town that I like, um and I will tell you the ones I've been to, but if I see a town that I like, then I will very likely stay for some months like that. That's what I'm planning at this point. So I do feel like I have a supportive community. Yes, it will take work. As I said, in Vlora, find the hangout, the American or the immigrant hangout for your group. Again, if you're French in Albania, it may be different. You have to go find where all the French people are going. But in Vlora, Cafe 1912, which I've mentioned before, and I did a little clip with him at the end of my video, and I'll put a link below to it. They're an American couple, um, and it's Tony, and his wife is more quiet, so I can't remember her name. She's very sweet, very nice, but very quiet. He kind of does a lot of the talking, and he's the coffee master. Okay, the coffee maestro. Okay, so go there and you'll meet other expats, English speaking expats, a lot of them. And I keep saying it's a community center. It really functions as that. So yeah, that's for Vlora. And in Tirana, I'm sure there's going to be like a bar or a restaurant that folks just hang out a lot, but then you just join the Facebook group. That's what you do. So yes, I did a road trip. And the road trip, so in fact, so let me answer that. So I've been to Tirana for about 9 days. I've explored Vlora, probably the longest now. I did go to visit Himare, which I am going to do a short video on. I definitely think it's worth a visit. I think it's a town you'd visit, probably not be comfortable living in because it's very small and I think it's very seasonal. I also went, gosh, guys, and I went to Permet, which I really liked, also very small. Um, unless you wanted real seclusion, you're running from, you're running from something and you're going to learn some Albanian. I wouldn't say that Permet is for living, but it's like a gateway for people who I think are going to hike or oh gosh, you guys, what is it? Row or some sport that I don't do. And I really liked it. It was a very cute, small town. It also was relatively clean. I liked how ordered it was. It had a cute little downtown area, and that's Permet, Permet. So I've been to Permet, Himare, Vlora, and Tirana. I have not been to Durrës, and I have not been to Saranda, and I have not been to Shkodër. These may come up, and I'll tell you more. D Walker says I can't hear you. Oh gosh, have I been talking this whole time and silenced myself? Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? Let me just check something real quick. Let me just check something really quick. Okay, well, the camera's working. Let me check sound. Audio, hold on. I have echo cancellation on and I have automatically adjust mic volume. It looks, hello, hello. So the microphone is on the MacBook and the camera is on the iPhone because I think the iPhone is too far away for me to use its mic, so I'm sort of doing dual inputs. Let me know if you can hear me, guys, because okay, yeah, I thought that. It's okay. Unless I hold the laptop up under my mouth. If I go like this, you'll hear me better. Oh, yeah. Just turn it up. Let me go to the next question. So yeah, there definitely is a community. There's definitely an African American community, and there's definitely a greater overall multi-ethnic. Actually, I've not seen anybody Asian American. I've seen white Americans and Black Americans. And like I said, Cafe 1912, we're just in there. Really like literally diverse, a mix of all sorts of Americans just chatting. I've met people, like I met a wonderful couple. They may be watching this. They're from, I'm meeting people from the Midwest, from all over America. And so in each town, we're definitely going to have a little point where we get together. So check your Facebook, just literally put in the town and then Albania expat. Probably says expat, probably doesn't say immigrant, but whatever. Be proactive. Now someone asked me this. Dating in Albania for women of color in their early 50s. I'm laughing because I've been here a month. Okay. I've been here 1 month. Um, so, but I will speak a little bit on my sense. Again, remember, I'm a New Yorker. We tend to be blunt. And we'll just say things. They're not meant. We're just like, this is what it is. Okay. So, and this is no diss to anybody liberal, but any of you from any political stripe who are delicate or are going to want to get offended, I mean, just stop. Um, my sense is that Albania, and I'm not going to be the only one saying this, it's very family oriented. The family unit is tight. People go out, you got the whole family. Okay, it's different than I'm from the coast in America. Now I know the Midwest in America is different, right? It really there's a lot of differences. But I'm more of a city, grew up in a city and more, it's different. So what I'm saying too is I would say certainly the Albanian men in their 50s, you see a lot of men in the culture and my friend who moved to France, we became friends because I interviewed her for this channel. Check it out. She was in Pogradec, Albania. She moved to France instead. Albania didn't work well for her. Okay. She's loving France. Um, One of the things people talk about it being male dominated. I'm like, you're not all up in these people's families. You're not. So maybe it is, but I don't feel like there are a lot of like free floating Albanian men in their 50s. But having said that, they're sitting in the cafes, which is why all the expats were like, where are the women? So the women, I would say 50 and up, you don't see them. It's very interesting. I don't know if they're at home a lot, but what you will see that again, maybe it's different than the US. You'll see a lot of men from young men in their 20s all the way up, just sitting, smoking, having their coffee, living their life. And I don't know, I think their wives are either at home or working, taking care of the children or the grandkids. You do see the older women pushing the stroller. I know a lot of you in a certain segment, I've heard comments, oh, well, it's a Muslim country and it's a very male dominated. What I see on the ground is I see quite a few men pushing well, either pushing the carriage, but more they're usually holding the child. So I see a lot of men, I see a lot of Albanian men with their young children. So I mean, I'm like, okay, I'm impressed. So I think some people do have some stereotypes that may or may not be true compared to what I'm seeing on the ground. Now, it doesn't mean that within their family, I think like Albanian women might actually be quite strong, but the appearance might be of a especially generationally, right, of a more patriarchal structure. I don't know. And if you're an expat or immigrant, like I said, you're not going to be all up in their families. Just saying, not to my viewers, but I feel like some people are making these big generalizations, and I don't know how it will affect you as an immigrant, is what I'm saying. You're kind of not, you're not I think they are sort of closed and tight, and you may break in and be taken in by a family and invited for dinner and given Rocky, but Reiki, Rocky, not Reiki. Reiki is something else. Rocky, the drink. which I still haven't tried yet. So, yeah, I don't know anything about dating in Albania. My intention, and I didn't think that, oh, I'm going to meet an Albanian man because I had a sense of it being a culture that, like, say you go to France and whatever your skin tone is, you're going to be able to date in France, right? You're going to be able to date in a lot of countries. I feel like Albania, given its history, and just my sense of it is that it's more insular. And yeah, I think the Albanians that were the adventurous Albanians, again, to be honest with you, I think they're abroad working and sending money home. And I say that because one of you said to me, oh boy, guys, I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm blurry. Hold on. Huh. Yeah, guys, I had to go out and come back in. I'm sorry. I don't know how long I was blurry. But anyway, that's just what I have noticed. Um, yeah, nothing bad. I think that if you are um, if you're a woman of color in your early 50s, you're probably going to end up, and you come to Albania, you're most likely going to end up hanging out with other expats. And like I said, there's a diversity of expats here in all different ways. But my sense is you're not going to necessarily break into dating an Albanian, if that makes sense. I want to know what you guys think, though. So sorry about that. I was frozen and I was talking. I had to like exit and come back. Okay, pay taxes in Albania and the US. Great question. Um, so you guys, I got here in this year, so I filed for last year's taxes, and last year's taxes I just filed as normal, and I'm so proud of myself, you guys, because I really don't like doing taxes. I did them myself, and honestly, I think it was because I was less stressed. I was able to do my taxes for me relatively fast. It took me like 3 days. I did it like 2 hours here, another hour, and because I'm like self-employed, retired and self-employed, you know, like the YouTube, which I think last year was like $900. But you have to account for that, or 600, I don't even remember, guys. So, I am not a tax expert. You'll notice most YouTubers, anytime they approach this topic of taxes, they back off because you have to really look into it. So, for yourself. So I filed because I was in the US last year and like the bulk of the time or enough of the time, right? And I was traveling. I was like touristing around. So I just filed my taxes. Now this year, um 2026, when I file for that, I will have talked to somebody. I will have talked to a lawyer, or probably not a lawyer. I will have talked to an accountant. Um My sense is, though, as far as I know, there is no tax agreement between the US and Albania, when there is with many, many other countries. But in this year, I'm 99% sure Albania is not trying to tax you. Like I said, I'm 99.9% sure. Albania is not trying to tax you in that year. Um, so when it comes time towards the end of the year, I will have consulted with someone, and as you know, the key thing you need to know if you're an American, right? And most of my audience is, no matter what, we're one of two countries. Somebody said three, but I swear it's some tiny country that taxes meaning no matter where you live, if you go to Morocco, if you go, do you go to Albania, you go to Tunisia, you go to Spain, America still wants you to tell them how much money did you make. I want to know it. I want to see it. You got to tell me. So you have to file. And I see a lot of YouTube comments where people say things that aren't true, though. From that, they extrapolate. Again, it depends on your income. If you're making, yeah, 200, 250,000, there's a threshold, you guys. Look it up, though. There's a threshold at which you will have to pay taxes on what you earned. But if your income is like moderate or lower, it's going to be, you're going to pay taxes, or you may not pay taxes at all. Okay. So I have not been double taxed, but at the end of this year is when I'm going to figure that out. And as I said, I'm 99% sure Albania, in this year of welcome for Americans, you're not you're not having to file taxes with Albania. But speak to someone, speak to a Smile Abroad just put out a video about this. They have a lawyer, and so does Kevin and Wendy, I believe, may have shared their lawyer. They're in Shkodra. Smile Abroad is in Saranda, and they've been here longer to have to deal with that. Smile Abroad in Saranda, I know they filed as a business. So, and the Kevin and Wendy, I'm pretty sure, are just either retired or, so check their channel for that. Wi-Fi connection as a remote worker, question 4, great question. So yeah, I hope the dating question, and you can ask me for more details or if something wasn't clear. Um, yeah, oh, the sun is coming in nicely, and it looks like, yeah, you can kind of see the ocean, um, and you can see the sky. The Wi-Fi connection, great. I think that was from Farida, the wonderful Farida, who is a community member. I think that varies by city, Farida. And then if you're doing an Airbnb, I would get a speed test, guys. Even if you're renting a house, most of us are going to want really good internet. So I would ask for a speed test or conduct it yourself. Like if you're in the space, like conduct a speed test. I didn't do that. I just sort of assumed. I just assumed. And it has been fine. It's actually been very good. I mean, I think once or twice. The more important thing though than the Wi-Fi, what I find again in some of the cities is the electricity might go off. So I mean, if your job is like mission critical and you're in a meeting with a high level client and you absolutely can't be cut off, you know. So the electricity, as I said, it went off for 20 minutes one time. But I think even earlier no, yesterday it glitched off, came right back on. Okay, so they are upgrading their infrastructure. So that's what I'd be more concerned with is the actual electricity and water. Water has definitely been in Vlora. Like I said, they've cut off the water maybe four times. What I don't like, again, to be honest with you, I'm not glossing over it like some people who channels that I still love, but maybe they do come in for a short time and they don't mention stuff like this. But so far they'll announce it, but they'll literally, and I'll hear about it. No, this is true. They announced it at 8 o'clock. They were going to cut off water the next day. Like the next morning, water's going off, and they announced it at 8 p.m. So that means if you didn't, which you would have had water stored, but you know what I mean? So to me, that's a little bit late. It's a little bit late to tell me at night that, and if I miss that, oh, okay. So most people actually out on the balcony here, the host has a big thing of water, like a big thing of water. And again, most places have a holding tank, and I found I've been able to flush, which somehow I thought that would stop immediately. But I think the water for flushing, at least in this building, has stayed on. It hasn't really been that bad, but again, I grew up working class and I grew up in the Bronx. And so I remember times where we had to do take the big pot and flush the toilet that way. I don't remember why, but it's not a completely new concept to me. Growing up in the Bronx back in the day. Um, so I kind of just roll with it. I hope that was helpful. So I would check the Wi-Fi connection if you're doing an Airbnb or short term. I'd get them to do a speed test on the Wi-Fi. Okay, Crystal Isabella had like how many questions? Oh, okay. No, she was good. She was good. Laura 8674 had like 4 questions. So Laura, that was a lot of questions. And I actually appreciate that. Maybe you give me ideas for videos. But yeah, Crystal Isabella. Sleep issues after 1 week. Crystal, where are you? Are you in because you said something about finding the bus or coach station to go to Tirana. So I have a huge tip. It's going to seem so basic. You're going to be like this. I did make a friend here who ended up was like in the same building. This whole long story, very woo-woo type of stuff that happens to me. Like he helped me and then we just became friends. Um, and I said this to him and he said it was good advice and he took it. He's looking on Google. Where's the bus station? Where do you catch the buses? It's really sketchy, you guys. I think once you get out of Tirana, it's like the bus could be in a couple of different places, right? These intercity buses. So I said to him, just call a cab. Call the cab. The cab driver will know. Just tell the cab driver he was trying to go back to Tirana. I said, so because he really had like two places. He's like, one says they'll take me, and another place says they'll take me to Tirana. And he's like, I'm just really not sure, and it's not quite clear. And I was like, just call a cab. You have luggage. Just spend $10 to get to wherever this place is. And he actually texted me later. He said, you know what? It was in a totally different place. So what I would do, saying for Crystal Isabella, she's worried about getting lost, but this finding the bus or coach station specifically to go to Tirana, whatever town you're in, I would just ask the cab to take you, tell them what you want to do, and they'll know because that's all they do all day. She's worried about getting lost. That's a real fear. Because she was saying Google doesn't work here. And so guys, I do have to share some stuff with you. It's so crazy. Um, in some of these towns, the building, okay, I would understand if the building doesn't have a number. Okay, so there's not necessarily a number system in some towns in Albania. And apparently this isn't just Albania, they're in South America, this is a thing. Because I remember laughing when somebody was talking about it in like Guatemala. So they'll use a landmark. So like where I am, I was given an intersection and I'm like, an intersection. I'm picturing like huge buildings and I'm like, you told me to go to this intersection and where that's where it's going to be, the lodging. There's no name because you'd be like, oh, well, the buildings have a name, Viv. No, it's not like look for the Excelsior or look for the Highgate. I'd be like, oh, take me to the Highgate. No, I was told near near this, like go near this hotel, near, and then at this intersection. But what is near? Are you in front? Are you to the side? Are you to the right? Where are you? So apparently, yep, somebody says I'm out. Yes, in Mexico. But it's really hard, you guys. So you have to be a little bit like just trusting. Or if you are going to be relying on cabs, the cabs are pretty, they know. So I told him the name of the hotel and I gave him the intersection and he's like, okay. He took off. Now in New York, they'd be like, where are we going, lady? What kind of address is that? So the driver takes off. And in fact, funny enough, I was exactly in front of the right place with just an intersection because I thought I should go down, like walk down further because that would be the literal intersection. But the person had also said, like I said, near this hotel, like say they said near the Excelsior. So I'm like, but still near the Excelsior or whatever. And this cross street, it's still a pretty big area. So the driver literally took my phone, the taxi guy, he took my phone and he's looking at he's looking at the balcony. He's like, this is what you had to deal with. And he's like, this is it. Yes. He was so proud of himself. He goes, you are in the right place. And he left me there with all my luggage. And I'm like, it's going to get dark soon. And there's more to it. I didn't have the full contact info through no fault of my own, like literally. And you know what? He was right. The person sticks their head out. Actually, that's where it gets into the woo woo story that I'm not even going to tell you. You have to become a member to hear the really woo woo story because it's so crazy. Because yeah, still the owner had no way to contact me. But we ended up connecting through this other person who just happened to walk up at that moment. And that's the kind of luck I have. So Crystal, Isabel, I hope that helps. And you said you have having sleep issues after 1 week. Um, I mean, if you've done a big life change, and I think you had said, I mean, this is like a move for you. This is a move. So I wouldn't expect that. I would think after a week you could still your sleep cycle is not going to be the same. And think about how many time zones you crossed. Like, especially if you came from California, you cross multiple time zones. And I do think that that's one of the things that they say that has to do with being out of your cycle. Okay, so Laura 8674. You had four separate questions. And so I wrote, tell her to join the circle, the broad circle, to get all these questions answered. But I'm going to answer one of your questions. How to get around without a car? That's a great question. That's a great question. And again, and if you have any other questions or comments, I'm going to look at them in a second. And welcome if you're just joining. I'm Viv, the Quiet Broad Abroad. I'm in Albania. I've been here for a little over a month. Guys, I'm dyslexic. So this is why I'm going to be bad with when ask me about budgets. My numbers will be reversed and you'll just be like, right? Numbers make me like nauseous. Um, so yeah, maybe it's good the buildings don't have numbers on them. They did in Tirana though. Tirana, I think some did, not all, but some did. So Laura, yeah, how to get around without a car. Again, it depends. You have to know yourself. I lived in the US with no car, and that was deliberate, right? It wasn't that I didn't want a car. I did not want a car. And you'll see many expats talking about that, especially if they're in Europe or any place where you can walk. Interestingly enough, actually, let me think. Tirana has a good bus system. I didn't use it. I prefer to walk. So this without a car thing, again, from New York City, always chosen to live in towns where I'm not dependent on a car. I don't like that car dependency for several reasons. The environment, the responsibility of a car, and the expense of a car. I recently did have a car where I was living, and it almost wasn't worth it, you guys. I mean, it came in handy maybe once every 2 weeks. I would have liked to have it. But for the cost, I estimate it to be about 8,000 a year just to maintain the vehicle. $8,000 you can do a lot with. And so I'm fine without a car. In Vlora, there is a bus system. The Albanians are on bikes. Get a bike. You can also rent a bike very inexpensively, especially if it's for a longer period of time. And like I said, the old Albanian men and a few women, a few, are on their bike and they're going through traffic and they're getting they're getting their groceries, right? It's just part of the culture. Now, if you're going to go, like when I went to visit some of these other towns, then just rent a car. Again, I think it's pretty reasonable. Again, the stopping point with that isn't the car rental, it's the gas. And again, with all the shenanigans going on, gas prices are pretty high. So, but if I wanted to go somewhere, first of all, I just find somebody who has, I always end up with people who either will rent the car and drive the car. I would not want to drive in Albania. How we drove, you guys, to get to Himare. When I tell you hairpin, I mean, you go this and then you go whoop, you go like that. It's not, and there were some gentle curves, but there was also like, boom, and at one point on our trip, it was really funny. This was only happened once, and we're literally on the side of a cliff, like just air out to the right, right? And my friend's driving, and then there's a car like head on coming at us. And I was like, okay. And she's like, luckily we weren't going very fast. And so they stop and we stop. It turns out we later discovered, because I literally really, really could only fit one car. So they backed up, they backed up, they backed up, and we went forward slowly and thanked them. And then they came. It turns out when we were returning, we saw there was a stoplight. But you guys, you're on a road, like a tiny road, and you're high up on the side of a cliff, and you don't expect a stoplight. I can't explain how strange it is. So it's kind of like windy road, windy road. There were no stoplights, and suddenly there's a stoplight. So we had apparently missed it, and maybe we weren't supposed to go when the other guy might have had right away. But anyway, we went all through Dermy, beautiful town hanging off the side of a cliff, little houses looking like Italy, and you just see this like cliff face and then these really pretty houses. So we drove through Dermy and then ended up in Himare, which was beautiful, beautiful little beach town. So I get around fine without a car. I don't want a car. Do your research and oh, this is what some YouTubers said. They go, well, remember they came out of communism like one generation ago. So the towns came up, they weren't built for with the expectation that people had cars because they were not like allowed. I think only like the party high ups had cars, right? So I wouldn't say that about Vlora. Now there's a lot of cars. There's almost too many cars, and they're really traffic. I feel like I'm talking a lot, but this will be the last bit, and then I'll look at your questions. Traffic is intense. They do honk, but not as much as you would expect. And somebody else was saying that they're generally, fairly polite to each other, what I've seen. I suspect, though, the younger people, and as more people get cars, that might get a little chaotic, and they really will have to put in more lights. But I mean, it literally is like intersections are kind of like, okay, you go, it's not like regulated like probably in Germany or even the US. It's like kind of like intuitive. So I do not want to drive here with the intuitive driving. Okay. So let's see. Guys, I know I love for you to be able to see the view, but I think I have to bring this down. So yeah, let me look at your questions. Oh, it totally changes the visual, but yeah, I was getting really hot with the sun beating in. All right, so let me look at your comments and your questions. And guys, I have not run the air conditioning since I've been here. I'm not really an air conditioning person. Um, and it's been in the 60s and 70s, which to me, that's like the 70s. 73 is my ideal temperature. So I have not turned it on. And I don't want to start at this point. So let me go back up. And so, yeah, I just want to welcome some of you. Deborah Nichols is here. She's replying to the Modern Silver Nomad, which we are going to do. We're going to do something. The Modern Silver Nomad, guys, I'm actually wearing socks. I'm such an old lady. I was wearing, because I was out earlier and I still had socks on. I bought some Albanian sneakers, which claim to be Nike. I don't think they're Nike. I just don't think they're Nike. I don't know how. They're a little light. I don't think they're really Nike. And they were like $14. And the girl said that they're just old Nikes. They're like an old style. And I'm like, I don't think these are Nikes. Okay. So who else is here? Believer 5009. Two Deborahs. Oh, a Deborah. And then wait, and then a Deborah. Deborah Howard is here. And Deborah Nichols is here. Modern Silver, you're commenting. Embracing the Pivot is here. And D Walker, of course, is here. Yay. All right. So let me see if you have questions. Do put a Q in front of them. And then, guys, I'm invited to dinner with some friends that I made in Cafe 1912. Um, so I want to kind of chill out before that. I was thinking of making some fruit salad, and they're like, no pressure. You don't have to bring anything. People say that. Great. Now it looks too dark. Hold on. Hold on. The artist in me has to get the lighting right. I may have to put this all the way back up. It's like kind of like, okay, and then I can't see how you guys see me. Let me do this. Let me move out of the direct sunlight. Yeah. All right. So infrastructure, that was one of the questions. Infrastructure, like I said, water in Vlora, infrastructure is still being built here. Okay, let me look at your questions. So now it's shining on my computer. It's hard to see. Um, yeah, I'll just put up some of your comments. Let's see. Oh, okay, Krista Isabella, you are in Schroeder now. Wow. Um, I did this before. You guys who saw me. I put someone on live. I don't know if I want to quite offer to do that now, but I'm looking down because I'm looking at her comment that you can see on the screen. Okay, so Krista, talk back to me. Krista, did you join the Facebook group in Schroeder? I'm pretty sure there's at least one, if not two. Okay. So you guys, this is important. You're in a new country. You're gonna want you need at least two good friends. Remember, I'm an introvert. I just need two good friends. Three might be nice. Okay. And then some local folks who you at least have a little rapport with, right? So, Krista, I think that you I mean, you're already here, but the teacher in me has to say to anybody, get a little bit of preparation in advance if you know you need that. I didn't. And actually, I will share with you, I don't think she would mind. Um, Atara, who was on my channel, she specifically, she doesn't use the joining Facebook groups method, which is she likes to just hit the ground. Like I'm a bit like that. I need to get there because I like to meet people naturally. I'm just going to say this. I'm not talking about any specific group, but oh, I know I can blame this on somebody else. The Smile Abroad guys, the couple that's in Saranda. I remember before I got to Albania in one of his videos, the guy said, the more rounder guy, he says, see, I'm a New Yorker. I have to describe him, the rounder guy, I think bald head. He said um, that he was in a Facebook group. He became like the manager of it. And he said that there were definitely there was definitely some little, infighting. And I just remember being tickled. Well, so join the groups, but just know that you're going to meet different personalities. So if you're more like me and maybe Atara, you just want to hit the ground and meet people and then maybe dip into a group and then dip out because I think, yeah, they can have some drama is all. Or just characters is all I'm going to say. And like I said, this was the Smile Abroad guys saying that, and I have found that to be true. So, one, Krista, also right away, I know there's someone in Shkoder who is a yoga teacher. Like, so I am the type of person I would reach out to if I see somebody on YouTube who's in a town that I'm in and we have any connection. I would reach out to them. Like if they talk about biking and hiking, I would probably reach out to them. So yeah, you really have to be proactive. Don't just, if you come to a new country, you definitely are going to experience times of loneliness. I think that's really important for me to say because as I'm thinking now of some of the folks I follow, they don't tend to talk about that much because remember, a lot of them come as couples. And of course, as a couple, you can still feel lonely. A couple can feel isolated. In fact, most of the folks that I've met here, the expats, let me think for a second, they have been couples. I think I have met, and it's funny, she didn't speak to me. I think I saw one other solo woman who, interestingly enough, because I will talk to everyone, at least just to, kiki, haha, where are you from? This one person did not speak to me. So other than that, every person I've met has been in a couple and I have met two women with their three women with their children of various ages. So again, always a unit of some sort. Does that make sense? So I literally, it's me and I another friend who we're kind of friends now, also single woman. So that's two. And then another woman who I saw two times, she was by herself. Um, so that's three, but most of the people are either with their children or they're with their partner. So if you come alone, you really have to um, set yourself up well. So I'm sorry that you feel much alone. I'd love to know, what have you done? Have you gone out to coffee shops? Another time, you guys, I'm sitting with the British guy that I met when I was lost. And that like ended up totally helping me figure out and was literally the connection to me getting into the apartment. Um, and I couldn't have planned that. So we were sitting having just a little coffee, a little espresso, um, and this big tall guy comes over to talk to us, and I think he had a British accent. He sat down and we just talked for like half hour. And he'd gotten his barack, his little pastry, and I think he was with somebody. So if people see you, they hear English, they're going to be like, and they'll come over. And if they're friendly people, if they're not that friendly, then what's the point, even if they speak English, right? So you just have to be a little bit of a risk taker. Let me keep putting it up. It's cloudy and cool here. Ooh, oh, it's gorgeous. You guys, I do have to say this. You guys are helping me realize this. So I would watch the Smile Abroad guys. And I mean, they had a gorgeous place, okay? They have a gorgeous place. Their balcony is like 4 times the size of this, and it's like glass. And so you'd see them, and I would be, I think I was in the UK, and it was gray and it was dreary. And then I'd see them with the sun, and I would be so jealous. I was like, just need a little sun. I just need sun. So it is nice. And I would truly tell you this time of year, the temperature is quite nice. Again, people are warning me, both Tirana and Vlora, in July and August, it gets really, people make it sound unbearably hot. So I'm just suggesting to a lot of you, think about those shoulder times. Think about going when it's not the height of tourist season. I mean, you know, some people like to sit and just bake in the sun. If you want that level of heat, uncomfortable heat, running, you know, if you're from maybe Dallas or Tucson, maybe that's your time. But if you're not, try to, you know, April, May, June, because as I said, it's already in the 70s. It's already a nice temperature. Anyway, let me keep going. I just want to see your comments. Oh, you're going to Tirana in June. Awesome. 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 Modern Silver Nomad. Okay, cool. You're gonna check it out? Are you checking it out for slow travel or for possibly staying? Yeah, let's see. Let's see. Okay, I've made apartment resis in several cities. Oh, okay, yeah. So you're doing it well. Yeah, you're doing it well. But it just sounds like, yeah, you needed to connect with some Facebook groups, and then they might have WhatsApp groups, and they're bowling, and or they're going to the movies, or somebody wants to go to such and such place, somebody wants to take a road trip. So you just have to really tap into the community, you know, and there, like I said, there are various communities. There's community for everyone. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yep, yep, yep. Modern Silver Nomad. Yes, I don't know. If I find a place I like, modern, then I will. I have some ideas and I'll share them, you know, after being there for some time. Hey, Farida, I could feel you were here. I know that sounds weird, but I felt that you were here. So again, the members of the Broad Circle, the channel members, I'm thinking it would have been today if I think I had kept to the same pattern, but let's meet tomorrow. So I will post it in the community area. It'll be the Zoom link, but I'll post the time. Because, yeah, so I'm doing this live. I didn't want to also do our live, and then I'm gonna hang out with these friends. It's just like too much talking for me all at once. It would have been like 4 hours of talking. So, but so channel members, let's meet tomorrow. Let's see. Oh, okay. So we've got some wisdom in the comments. Believer says 140K a year tax free for small business earners. Okay, that's a chunk. I don't know when that came up when I was speaking. So, believer, is that, can you give a little more context to that statement? 140K a year tax free for small business earners. So it sounds like they may be saying in Albania it's up to 140K. That's because that sounds right. Again, they really want people to come. They want people to start businesses. So they're making it easy, right? At this point, it's not an economy where they're already like, oh, we've got too much or we need to regulate. They really want people to come in. So I think Believer is saying that that's in Albania, that it's up to 140K a year. And that's probably after the visa-free year, once you are a resident. We are not technically a resident in this year. I don't know what the status really is, right? To get the temporary residency, you can apply right when you get here, but most people live part of the year, right? Which is what I'm doing. They want to see if they like it. So they may stay for 5 months, 6 months, and then start the application. Now that's not advice to you because I don't know how long it takes. Um, the guy Kevin and his wife, I think like I said, they confused me. They were confused about something. And anyway, they're traveling in like Thailand or in Asia now. But if you're here for the year, I think you want to start, if you're going to stay, start that process, obviously, before you get towards the end of the year, right? Because they need time. They're going to need time to get your paperwork and to process and all of that. Okay. But yeah, so share. Very good question. Where did you hear the water shut off announcement? Deborah, great question. My host finally did show me. At first, they would just tell me. They would, but they'd forget to tell the British friend. So I'd be like, "Water's going to be shut off. Did you know?" And he's like, "No, nobody told me." I'm like, "Oh, they didn't tell you?" He's like, "No, they didn't tell me." They'd tell me, and I tell him. But apparently, there is for Vlora. Yeah, for Vlora, there's a Instagram page. There's an Instagram page, and yes, it is in Albanian. So yeah, hit translate. But are you going to go every day? I'm not going to go every day to an Instagram page to see and then translate. So yeah, I would say if you're like in a booking, you're in like a short-term rental, like an Airbnb or booking.com or through word of mouth, I would say to them, look, can tell me if the water's going to be cut off, please. And after it happened a couple times is when the family member showed me on the phone, here, go here. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm laughing because I'm really not going there. I just know. So yeah, Silver Nomad, I love that. Says, yeah, in Mexico, no street numbers. Yeah, it's apparently, look. Okay, Krista. Yeah, you haven't been there that long. So Krista, what have you done? Do you go for walks? I have a video about this, but my main thing, if I first of all, I've done the Facebook groups, but remember, I am an introvert, and I've just said to you, for those just joining, I prefer to meet people. If I meet you in a group, I really don't know much about you. I've met you through a digital, it's like dating, and it's just a performance. I don't know. I'd rather um see you on the street or run into you. I just like that more person to person, and the group might be a supplement to that. If I know we have something in common, then I probably would set up. I would be like, oh, let me reach out to this person. Um, so yeah, Krista, what have you done? So what I recommend is always go for a walk in any new town. Every day, go for a walk. Go to a shop owners, make yourself known, order a coffee, sit for a little bit, smile, get some chit chat going. Um, and like I said, you should see other expats doing the exact same thing. The expats look different. They have a different look. Oh, okay, she says it. Yes, I go for a walk. I will go for a walk early in the morning before the streets are busy and take pictures and videos. Go early, but don't go so early that you don't see other people. So yeah, thank you for that comment. Yeah, don't go if you're going. It sounds like, are you a YouTuber, Krista? And forgive me if I already know. Remember, I don't. Sometimes it's just too many different people and the screen name, and I won't remember. Um, but it sounds like you might be a YouTuber or you're documenting or something. So I don't go so early that I wouldn't like see other people, especially if I'm trying to meet people. She says, surely not Nike. In Serbia, they sell those Nike shoes too. No, because I was like, I mean, I am over 60. I'm not really up on what are the latest Nike shoes. So I thought it's interesting. Interesting style, but it's something about the materials. Yeah, and then I thought, well, Viv, maybe, yeah, because it's a lightweight Nike shoe. That's part of the thing. It's a lightweight. And I'm like, I don't think it's Nike. I don't think it's Nike. And yeah, I mean, for $15 American, yeah, no, it's not Nike. So it's the same company, I'm sure, that would go to Serbia. Solo Traveler 7795. Yes. She says, I talk about loneliness in my videos, and you were right. People tend not to mention it like it's a failure or something to be embarrassed about. Yes. And when we do I would like to touch on that. Of course, you don't know people. And again, like I said, Albania isn't like Spain. Some cultures are more open, they're more expressive. parts of Africa, people, oh, they're going to talk to you and da, 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 da. I think some YouTubers are giving the impression that I don't, some of them will tell you the truth. They have a serious face. The older people definitely have a serious look. They have been through a lot, and I can feel that. That's what I'm saying. You can read that they have been through a lot. The younger people are much more carefree, as younger people are anyway, but you can feel it. There's a joyfulness. They're always in groups. The boys are in groups of 10 and 12. There's like a group, and the girls are in groups, and they're just having fun. The older people, very dour, very dour. Middle age, maybe they're sort of transitional. Um, so I think that absolutely, if you want to become friends with locals, if you live in a place, and what the Smile Abroad guys have said, because they've been in Albania long enough, when the merchants and people start to see you're not just a tourist, you're not here. Why am I going to invest in you if you're here for 1 week and then you're flying back to Belgium? You're flying back to France. I'm not going to give you a lot of my energy. I'm going to give you your coffee and your eggs, and that's it. Fellow it, and that's it. But if they see you and that you live there, that's obviously a different level of commitment, and that makes sense to me. So let's see. I am very new to Facebook. I did join it this morning. You're new to Facebook? Okay. Ask for information on long-term apartment rentals. I did see a woman on YouTube from San Francisco. I will comment on her podcast. I see. I see. Okay. So you haven't seen her in person, but she's from San Francisco. Yes, I think I know who you mean. If you're talking about in Shkodra. Yeah. I don't know how open she is to meeting everyone, but I would start. I mean, the worst they could be like is I'm busy, right? Most of them, like, I can't, I'm blocking his name now in case he's watching, from Pogradec. They have meetups all the time in Pogradec. Like once a week they get together, and then obviously people break off because you might be like, oh, I really like her. I'm gonna be friends with her. You do certain like things that the guys don't want to do, or whatever. Right? So you go to the big group and then you find your little subgroup. So it sounds like you're starting to. Yeah. You have 90 days visa free in Albania. Okay, yes, I think you did tell me. So you don't have the year. You have 3 months. 90 days is great. I would say though, it's interesting, Modern Silver Nomad. If I would do it, um, not at the peak days in Albania, because towns like Vlora, Durrës, the price shoots up during this time that we're entering. So I would, part of my scheme of slow travel, right, is to slow travel against the season. I'll share something with you that those of you who are real geeks would already know this. Someone here in Vlora was telling me, oh, you should go to Banksko. Banksko? Not Banksy, that's the artist. Banksko in Bulgaria. He said it gets really hot here and it gets, crazy with the tourists. But for a couple of reasons, they go to Bansko, Bulgaria. So Bansko is a ski place, right? But in the summer, prices drop 300, 325 euro for a place. Beautiful green town, digital nomads descend on it, right? So I would tend to travel opposite the flow for a variety of reasons, to avoid overcrowding, get cheaper prices. Well, those two are like the key: avoid overcrowding, get cheaper prices, and still enjoy the beauty of the place. So Modern Silver, I'm surprised you're coming to Albania. You're coming in like a peak time, so that's going to end up costing you more unless you go to a town that isn't tourist driven, um, because they really do hike up the prices, apparently. Modern, so what time is the circle? I want to join, but I have guests and don't want to miss. It will be tomorrow. I'm not quite sure yet. I probably will do it around, let's see, right now it's almost 10 to 5 my time. It'll probably be sometime either 3 or 4 Albania time that I will do it, um, the broad circle. And what you get if you are interested in joining the broad circle, it is for women 50-ish and up. I mean, if you're 48, it's okay. I'm not going to kick you out. I'm not going to ask for ID. It is open to all women. I would like a group of women from all backgrounds, to be in there and share our wisdom with each other, because I think if women can't get along from like the way the world is right now, women should be the healers, and we have the natural ability to um, compromise and work with each other. I know that doesn't necessarily work for everyone, but yeah, that's what I would like the broad circle to be, a supportive group of women who have traveled the world or are traveling and just want support, and who want to especially maybe start a new life abroad, start their, I'm saying, their best era ever. So that's what it is right now. So Believer says you get 183 days, then you're a tax resident. You're you're a given 140 in Albania, but the reality, the US gives you a 120-day tax limit with no taxes on foreign earned income, but you still have to pay US self-employed. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really understand that. But but I am retired, so whatever they tax Social Security is what America, I'm 99% Albanian, is not taxing my Social Security, but that's something I should find out. Um, yeah, I'm 99% sure they won't, but yeah, that is good because nobody's talking about that. I don't know. Um, but like I said, this year is a question mark for me in terms of taxes. Um, let me read what a Believer says again. And yeah, my computer's getting hot. Um, Okay, I think I am gonna have to do this, just so I don't want the computer to overheat. Oh, okay, that's good. You get 183 days, then you are a tax resident, okay, of Albania. You're given 140 in Albania, but the reality, the US gives you 120 tax limit with no taxes on foreign earned income. See, that's the thing. My income, any of my income is online. So that's why I need somebody to sort it for me. I am not earning money because that is different. If you come to Albania, like for instance, the man who opened Cafe 1912, that is foreign earned income. He's got a shop in Albania. I don't have that. I'm not, though I talked about my four side hustles. The one that I want to try, I would try it once I'm settled. So I was teaching yoga. That would definitely trigger something. My work is online. And so I would tell America, oh, yeah, I made this online and I would file it with America. Um, that's all I know. I basically would just be like, you gave me you gave me my social security money. You gave it to me that I had amassed over my years of working. And then I earned this much online. So those are the only two I have. I'm not trying to open a boutique in Albania. Certainly if you're going to open a business, and I have some gossip, but I have some tea, but I think it's best for me to keep my mouth shut. Um, just that, yeah, some people came here, were going to open a business, had an experience. There was a problem with the property and then left and they lost a deposit. That's all I'm going to say. Um, and so they may have acted very quickly. Certainly if you're going to open a business, uh, I would stay in a country for some time to just really get a sense of the country. That would be my advice to any of you. And certainly if you're a business person, I think you would know that, right? You want to, do I even like this town? Do I like the country? Do I like the town? Is this business feasible? And so to me, that would take at least 4 or 5 months and at least talking to people and at least getting intel. Um, before I would open a business, and I have no plan to open a business and earn income in the country. I do think online income is different, and absolutely I'll tell the IRS because as I always say, remember Al Capone. For the really young ones here, remember this is quiet, broad abroad. Over 50 women. They will have heard of Al Capone. We're not that old, but we would have heard of him. They couldn't get him on all the stuff he did, the racketeering, the murders, all the stuff, right? And I guess alcohol was prohibition, I don't know. But they got him on taxes. So just remember that. I just always am amused by that. It's like all the myriad of crimes he did, but no, it was tax evasion. There's also an Albanian social security system to pay into monthly. Yes, exactly. So, believer, you're absolutely right. I'm not going to do the business. I have heard, and this is why you need to have intel on the ground. I've heard from several people, of course, I'm not going to name them, that this business tax thing, it's a little more than they think or that you're told. So if you open a business like the Smile Abroad guys, they mentioned it. It's supposed to be like 125, 100, 150, but that a couple of people have told me it's more than that. And if you're on a very tight budget, you're going to be surprised. Okay. I've had like three people tell me that. So yeah, I'm not opening, and I'm not going to do the business visa. I'm either going to do retirement visa, and I think there's a self-employment visa that may also have a little bit easier bar, not the business thing, believer, that you're talking about. Yes. So in reality, about 25% of income needs to put away. Yes. Yes. You pay into it monthly if you have a business, right? And the business may not make any money, but it's getting you the health insurance, believer. So I think that's why. I don't think it's excessive, but for me, it would break my budget. It would absolutely break my budget to have to put like I think I'm hearing, yeah, 200, 250 every month. Unless I mean, yeah, it depends what your overall income is. But yeah, it sounds like you've really done the research. Are you, believer, you're already in Albania? It sounds like you are, and you've definitely done your research. Hello, I'm new here. Nice to see you. Where are you, and what's your favorite food to eat there? Hi, Christiner. Um, so I am in Albania. I am actually in Vlora right now. My favorite food, actually the fish. I was just rewatching a video from this young couple. I can never remember their channel name. They work, like, they have jobs and they slow travel. So YouTube isn't like their job. And they were talking again about Albania and not Croatia, Georgia. I think it was them, and they were talking about the seafood. And yeah, it's not like I'm a huge seafood lover in the US, but I've mentioned it several times. This whole fish, when you get the whole fish on a plate and it's like grilled beautifully, and the fish is so fresh, and then served with grilled veggies with like a balsamic sauce. And one time they put like an avocado mash with the balsamic. It was so good. I literally could have that a couple times a week just for lunch. It felt that nourishing. There was no carbs, and I'm not anti-carb, but just the fresh veggies and the protein felt really good for my body. There wasn't like pasta or rice. To me, sometimes those things, I feel like I don't even need it. I just needed like the protein. It was a clean, delicious protein. I had no tummy problems after. And then the veggies, that's been my favorite. And I do love the barek. I have to say though, on the barek, some people don't make it good. Like, I'm a barek expert. Barek, you guys, is a thing. It's in like a phyllo dough. And then inside, I typically get the spinach one, and I think it has some cheese, almost like a feta, some sort of white cheese in it. I have now really noticed there's an unevenness in the barek cooking. There's a place in Vlora. The barek is $1, 100 lek. It's delicious. And I've had barek for 200 lek, which I think the guy really was ripping me off. I do not think that's the price for the locals. And it was awful. I haven't gone back. Though that same guy makes great coffee. So I'm really annoyed because I can't get everything all together. So he makes great coffee. I went there another day. His wife made the coffee. It wasn't as good. And I'm like, huh. Because I thought, you just smack it down, do the machine. How hard is it? Her coffee wasn't as good. Anyway, I digress. I digress. Hi, Laura. Oh, I did answer your question, Laura. You had the question. You had four separate questions, Laura. And I wrote, tell her to join the broad circle. And I answered how to get around without a car. So you'll have to go back. I answered one of your four questions. They were great questions. From PNC, from the PNC. What is PNC? I feel like I should know that, Lucille. Hey, Lucille, another Broad Circle member. We're going to meet tomorrow, okay? I'll put the announcement later today. It's too much for me to do this live, and then we talk for an hour. I mean, I don't talk for the whole hour. You guys share, as you know, and it's wonderful. Our first meeting was wonderful, you guys. I do want to have a little structure to it, so I kind of corralled some of the women because we were just going off, just talking, yak, 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 yak. So I kind of was like, okay, let's introduce ourselves. We'll go back around again, and then we hit on a topic, and it was great, and it just came up spontaneously. So I like that, a little structure and then spontaneous. So as I said, it's open to all women 50-ish and above. Krista says, I'm not currently a YouTuber, but would like to become one. I think it may help me not to get lost. I can replay and view where I've been. That is so funny. Many people, especially early YouTube, if you remember, they said they started it like literally just to keep their family up to date. Like, say it was a guy and he moved to North Carolina and he got married. And so he'd make videos about his life to share using YouTube to share with his family. So obviously it's grown a lot from then, but I hear you on that. Krista, it's either something you really like or you don't. I don't think it's for everybody, and most people do not make money from YouTube at all. Um, yeah, I will report to you guys. It looks like I may as well. I mean, I'm a pretty transparent person. The only things I will try you if you hear me not sharing something or avoiding a question, it probably more to do with just safety, security, scammers, that type of thing. Um, I think my first payment from YouTube will be about $200, which, listen, in Albania, I was doing the math. If I like $100 for me would be about 9 meals, 8 meals if I go more lavish. The fish place I was mentioning to you, and I even said their name. I'm not going to say it again though. Um, I think total, I think I had a drink that time. It was like $15. So $100 is a couple of meals out. So, I'm happy with that as a retiree. So, yeah, I would love to have more of a cushion because right now I really don't have a good cushion. I mean, I have a cushion, but not like a cushion, not a money cushion. All right. Yes, who's saying greetings? I love it. I don't know why it looks like it's coming through twice. Um, yes, Believer says that gives the water electric outages in Vlora by neighborhood and times. Oh wait, where did you share? Believer, yeah, there's an Instagram. Is there a Facebook? Wow, so it looks like Believer that gives the water electric outages in Vlora by neighborhood and times. Okay, let me go back up to see what you're saying. You are definitely someone in the know, Believer. Yes. I feel like I may know who you are, but maybe I don't. Believer, tell me, do I know who you are? Are you someone that I've Okay, very new to Facebook. Okay, I'm going back up. Believer, you sort of just dropped that. I feel like there was a first part to that because you're like, it gives you the neighborhoods and the times. Okay, yeah, maybe you're agreeing that there's an Instagram for this the water system. Modern Silver Nomad sharing. I found a Canadian lady that will rent with her with rent, so less money. Oh, you're gonna rent with her. Got you, got you. I need to leave Hungary. I see, I see. You did tell me that. Okay. But it's good. Maybe some of the folks will follow you and they want to know. So yeah, check out the Modern Silver Nomad. She has, I think she's on a budget and has been in Hungary. I do want to interview her because Hungary is a place, it's not that easy to get folks who have been in Hungary, especially a solo woman. So I will definitely want to interview her. And so you need to leave. Yes, you'll rent with her. Got it. Got it. Got it. Sorry, the address is missing at the end. At the end of the address. Yeah, you know what? If it looks like a link, YouTube takes it out. It's not me. I think because they want to prevent. Say you're like a porn site, people would, because you know what happened, right? People would be dropping links like, go here, check this out. And it's like a money scam. So I think if you try to put in a link or a URL, it'll scrape it. Okay. So yeah. Believer says no days. I mean, money days are 183. Money is 140 and 120. Sorry. Yeah, it's okay. I think they need to talk to an accountant is what they need to do. Is what I need to do. So yeah, it's because your messages are in parts. I'm not necessarily following it, but those of you reading the whole thread, maybe you can follow. It looks like, yeah, the address is missing. Yeah, the address is missing. Okay. But yeah, the days I'm not even following. Going further together, yes. Yes, Lucille, exactly. They just recently did a video of these underrated places, and they did put Albania back in again. They definitely enjoyed it here. I think they were here for a couple of months, at least 1 month, but maybe more. It wasn't clear, because people like to keep some privacy and, like I said, all sorts of things. They might have been here. I feel like they might have been here for 3 months because they did go to different places, but they were raving about, I think she thought the Georgian food was better. I haven't been to Georgia, but they definitely were raving about the seafood in the Balkans. I'm pretty sure, like, the whole region, the seafood has been really, really good. hmm Pacific Northwest, not sure what you're referring to. Persendetche, just discovered your channel. Thank you for sharing. Would you say Vlora is a tourist seasonal town? Great question. And it follows good with the questions. You might want to go back a little bit, and I guys, now I don't remember. I'm definitely doing a video. I did a video on Vlora. It's a public video where I'm walking through Vlora, and I really give you the positives and the negatives. I'm walking on the beach and I talk about Vlora. And also other videos too, though I have. Um, so I spoke to, again, intel on the ground, someone who's been here through the winter. Um, it gets really quiet in the winter. So if you are a writer, if you want to just rest and have the ocean, and you don't get lonely easily, because again, I think the expats will still be here, but she found it quiet in terms of things to do. Um, and with a young adult, the young adult got bored, okay, in Vlora in the winter. The young adult, there wasn't enough. And again, you're not interfacing much with the Albanian community because, as I said, they're very, very tight. I think their friend groups they've grown. I mean, you can see it. Albania, you guys, is like America in the 80s and 90s. The kids still play. They're outside, they're swimming, and they're still relating to each other in person. Definitely in the 20 somethings, they're with the phone, but not as much. But the phone has taken over, which I really think is a negative for so many reasons I won't get into here because it'll be like I'm digressing. So yes, it's a very seasonal town, less so than Saranda though, because again, it has Albanians who live here. It's not just totally tourist, but the Lungomare, and again, intel on the ground that I found out. I was talking to someone because I'd heard about this other neighborhood and that I like, because again, I like to go against the grain. I didn't want to necessarily, if I lived in Florida, I didn't want to be on the lungomare. Picture like a wine glass, like a wine glass that's like this, and then there's the stem. The stem of the wine, so the lungomare is the bowl part, and then the stem of the wine glass goes further back and is more the local neighborhood. And some very nice neighborhoods back there as well. Definitely middle class, very well kept. The woman that I became friends with, this couple, they were saying they wanted to look in that area and the realtors would not want to show them that area. We're not sure why. We're not sure if it's that area is cheaper, I would presume. And the realtors are like, no, Westerners, you want to be by the beach. Don't you want to be by the beach? Don't you want to be in a high rise? I don't like high rises actually. So I'm saying, oh, I'm 4 stories up. That's because, like I said, I needed to stare at the ocean to calm my nervous system, which has worked, except today I'm like kind of hyped up. I probably had too much matcha. So forgive me. Yeah, I can't. I'm like substances of any sort like throw me off. It's crazy. So yeah, I might be too matched up. Um, so what was I saying? She said the realtors just would not show her in the local neighborhood in Vlora. They wanted to put them on the Lungomare by the sea because that's where all the non, the non-Albanians are, and then like the Albanians who can afford that. So I think it's a pricing thing. I don't know why they're doing that, other than that's what we think it might be. And she really because she didn't particularly want to be by the ocean, but they just are like, no, 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 and we have this other place, this such and such, and you'd love it. In fact, one place they tried to show her, guys, I made a video of it. I didn't publish it. Really like nice posh area, beautiful new buildings, like very sleek, very nice looking, but there was no grocery store there. So it's this little pocket, and they were like, "Oh no, we want to show you places there." And they're like, "No, we think it's too far. It's kind of the lungomare, but it's at the end, and then there's no where are we going to shop?" Now, if you kept going, we found some other shops, but they would almost need a car or a bicycle to shop. So anyway, yes, there is a Facebook Botiv page. Believer, you're typing too fast. There's a Facebook Botiv page. Botive. I'm sorry, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. Oh, okay, okay. I thought you might be someone in a group here who's like the reason was because you're full of information. That's why, and you know stuff. And one of the groups, the main group that I'm in, there's a person who is just um full of information, and I really have to say you do want to know the expats because the expats can give you like you have a question, they're like, go here, go here. Guys, I didn't have a yoga mat, which for me is really hard. I'm a yoga teacher, and yoga helps keep me calm and feeling really good. And because I'm traveling around, you guys, the yoga mat, obviously I didn't pack a yoga mat because that would have taken half of the suitcase, honestly. I asked someone, they're like, oh, go to Jumbo. I had passed Jumbo here in Vlora. Jumbo looks like a toy store. Walk into Jumbo. Jumbo has two types of yoga mats with the carrier. I paid for the yoga mat $8. $8 for a yoga mat with the carrier. I was like, okay. And so now I've been able to start doing yoga again. I feel so much better. So I know a lot of you are thinking this, oh, I don't want to be with other Americans, yada, yada. But I'm telling you, especially when you land, and even like Krista and Crystal Isabel is saying, she's feeling a bit isolated. You need those expats, especially in the beginning. And like I said, I'm being really honest with you. You're not going to like all the expats, but it doesn't matter. That expat is going to know what's the lawyer. Don't go to this store. They'll rip you off. Don't, get your coffee here. Oh, what are you looking for? Oh, you're looking for a Vitamix? I haven't found a Vitamix, but I'm giving it as example of like a bougie thing that a Westerner is going to want. You're going to want your Vitamix. Oh, okay, go to this store. So yeah, I literally would have just wasted time. I would have gone to so many stores looking for this damn yoga mat. And I said it, and two of the women, they're like, oh yeah, Jumbo has it. I don't do yoga, but I have the mat, and that's where I got it. So you need your expats. It doesn't mean you're not getting married to other expats. Okay. I'll be interested in what's it like in the summer and how one can deal with the heat. So, Laura, like I said, it gets really hot in Vlora in the summer, really hot. I've heard Tirana also gets really hot, and I would not want to be hot in Tirana because Tirana is a city. Um, I didn't feel a lot of greenery. There's a gorgeous park in Tirana, but unless you're going to just camp out in the park and there's a lake, a lot of people apparently leave. So, yeah. Oh, sure. All that is unseen. Yeah, all that is unseen. I'm definitely gonna have to replay this. I missed too much. Well, watch what I do because this happens to me a lot, like with Stephanie Perry's lives, because her lives will be like 3 hours. Just saying. I'll cut in. I'm like, oh, and I will just watch it forward and then I'll go back. And then when I hit that point, I'll stop. Because that way I get the live experience. So yeah, 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 yeah. Definitely. Bebop. Hi, Bebop. Matcha. Okay, somebody's making fun of me. Matcha is focused energy. No, it is. It is. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get to these people's house tonight, and again, everybody's saying Albania is safe, but I just typically, to Rashida Dow's point, I don't like to be out at night typically anyway. I don't like to drive at night, and I'm not driving here, but so I'm just thinking about getting to their house. I'm nervous about that. And then getting back. Will they put me on the bus? Because I did once take the wrong bus here. It was hilarious. They were so nice. Little bus story. Right after an expat had warned me, because I was like, there's one bus. There isn't just one bus. So After like 5 times of taking the bus, you guys, no problem. I get on the bus like I normally do. I don't look, get on the bus. The bus turns the opposite way. I'm like, oh shit. The guy takes the ticket. There's a ticket guy on every bus, which is really cute, right? Like an actual, there's a driver, then there's a ticket guy. I'm like, ah, this bus is not going the right way. I didn't say it like that because I'm like, the bus is going. Anyway, he goes, oh, and he points to the driver, and I'm like, oh, great. What? And but he immediately goes to the driver, and the driver stops the bus. Like they had literally just gone around the corner, and I immediately was like, oh no, this is the wrong direction. And they just let me off. So they didn't like we would in America, just take you to the next stop. They just immediately like, up, doors opened. I jumped off, and went back to the bus stop where I was embarrassed because the same people were still there. And that's where I asked an Albanian girl, find somebody young, Anglist. And she's like, oh, speak English. And two of them helped me. They were so sweet because they were arguing about how to say it in English. Because she's like, I can't think of the word. And I'm like, it's okay. And she told me which bus I needed to take. There were two buses that I could have taken. So I'm nervous about that coming back at night and like, can I get the bus? Because I don't want to walk the whole distance. I'd rather just take the bus. Yeah, no, I don't know what it's supposed to be. You think we'll know, but at votive, the votive page, motive page, yeah, I don't know. So yeah, you're typing fast. You're typing fast. Yes, matcha is focused energy. It truly is. Deborah Nichols, I enjoy the slow travel couple videos. However, as a single woman, my views on travel will be looked at differently. That's why I follow women over 50. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, like I said, a lot of the women here are with their husbands, and if they're with their husbands, their budget is going to be different. They're going to have somebody else they make a decision with, or who may actually make the decision, or like, so it's very different. They have someone that they're going to go to dinner with. They have someone that they're going to, oh, well, let's go ATV riding. Well, let's go do the not the skydiving, but what's the thing? Let's go do the paragliding. Let's go to this restaurant, honey. Let's go to do this. So it's different. So yeah, it's I think it's important to watch people in your age group. I think is important. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Good. You guys are talking to each other. City girl, 80%. Okay. See, oh, I like how that looks in the light. The artist in me. Let's see. She says, all over Europe, summer is really hot. Best places are up in the north, in the UK or Sweden for summer. And what not some people who are big travel buffs don't want to say, the kind of the people who travel randomly, unlike us, like Modern Silver Nomad and myself, I think we travel more intentionally and we're really living. I'm not just zipping across and flying across the world just because I kind of want to and feel like I should. So the climate is warming. Greece had fires on its islands like 3 summers ago that were horrifying. They had to be evacuating people, and you're on an island that's burning. So you've got ocean, and where are you going to go? So like I said, for me, it's slow travel for living, for discovering a place, and maybe settling there. It's not just traveling just because I feel like it or I want a vacation with the girls. I really think that time is ending. I've said it to one other Black YouTuber. They kind of agreed, but it was like, yeah, I'm still going to do what I want to do. That's just that is a big part of my channel. Do you miss the comforts of your US life? What comforts? Or do you find yourself adapting? I'm very adaptable in general, but I haven't done overseas prolonged travel. Great question. I am very adaptable. So yeah, I can be very cranky if things don't go the way I want, but I'm still adaptable. And I know that's the New Yorker, the crankiness. Like, I have a great story from decades ago in Italy. It's a great story. That's why I have to tell it. I wanted an iced coffee. All right. And I'm in Italy 20 years ago. Okay. In like a real bar, like a cafe, not like something that's for foreigners, not like a kind of more bougie, like a real authentic. So I asked for iced coffee, and the guy's like, we don't, I don't know what you mean. We can't do that. We don't do that. So my friend just looked at me like, girl. So this is what I said. I said, okay. I mean, it's simple. I said, okay, so I'll have a coffee. And he's like, okay, like, cafe Americano, or I think whatever I said. I might have said espresso, something. He says, okay, I can do that. I said, "Do you have ice?" He says, "Yeah, I have ice." I says, I'll have a glass of ice." And then I was like, "And I'd like some milk." And I kind of felt like I was being a bitch, but I wasn't because I really wanted a nice coffee, you guys. It was so hot. It was so hot. This was in Venice, like I said, and they weren't doing iced coffees back then. So he brought me the coffee. I poured the coffee over the ice. He's looking at me. I looked at him. I take the milk, I pour it over. Oh, and I put the sugar in first while the coffee was, I sweetened the hot coffee and he's watching me. I'm like, okay, pour it over the ice. He's looking at me. I'm looking at him. He's like, oh, I take the milk, I pour it in there. And I'm like, I think I asked for a straw, which he probably didn't have. Fine. And I paid for it. So I can get cranky if something is different, I do want it like the way I want it. But at the same time, next time I'll be like, yeah, they don't do iced coffee. So to your question, I am very adaptable. Like the water shut off. It's annoying, but I got bottles of water over there when I panned over there before. Um, I'll give you a quick example. Most Westerners, most Americans, in fact, my two friends, I'm pretty sure they buy their water. I happen to notice there are some public fountains. I saw the locals at the public fountain getting water that I presume is filtered because again, like many countries, the water directly coming into your home, you're not supposed to drink it. So I noticed the locals filling up at a fountain, like big containers, multiple containers. The family would come, and so I'm like, oh, so I bring my big bottle and I fill it up, and they often let me go ahead, which is really nice because I only have one bottle, and they've got like the gallon, and they'll fill it, they'll go ahead. It's very nice, and I'll fill it up, and then I'm off for my walk. So to me, that's adaptable because I was talking to another American lady and, she may be watching this. She's definitely more bougie than me. And she said something about where their fountain is. It's a little dirty. Now, mind you, it's on the ground. As my understanding, it's on the ground. The water is coming from higher up and is coming through pipes. But she's like, I'm not going to get my water there. She just buys bottles of water. But I don't want to, partly money, but I don't wanna have plastic bottles, like, building up because I drink a lot of water. So I just go to the fountain, fill up my bottles, reuse them, and so, yeah, that's to me, I'm more adaptable, and I don't see that many of us doing that. I'll see occasionally guys, maybe they have, like, a little water bottle, but I see the locals doing that because they're not trying to spend their money on water, bottled water. High maintenance Americans, yes. So exactly, I'm not very high maintenance. Like I said, I don't see tourists filling up at this tap. I think tourists are just like, I'm just gonna buy my water because I'm buying my filtered water. And I'm like, eh. I did ask my host also, obviously common sense. I said to her, I make soup, or if I boil my water, I like tea. Is that okay? And she goes, yeah, yeah, yeah. If you're boiling it, it's absolutely fine. We do that. So yes, I'll use the tap water. I'll boil it for soup or for cooking where it's going to be boiled. And then for just drinking, I go where the Albanians go. Yeah, I'm not trying to. Thank you. Wasn't it funny? I'm telling you, the guy looked at because he's behind the counter and I remember it was a beautiful wood counter because it was a very old-fashioned Italian bar. And he just looked at me and I was like, it was like Lucy. I felt like I Love Lucy because I was like, and he looked at me and then I was like, ice. Stirred it up. And I was like, "Thank you, buongiorno," or whatever I said, and I'm like, "I'm out." And my friend, the gay guy friend, he was so amused because he's like, "You just weren't gonna let that go. You were just not gonna have a hot coffee." I'm like, "No, it was already hot. I needed something cool." So, of course, now in Italy, they'll the ice this, ice that. What do the Americans want? What do the Brits want? I typed out the name of the Facebook page in your comments. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you. Oh, you've typed out the name. Okay. Thank you. Let's see if it comes up. But yes, I am really not as high maintenance as most Americans. So yeah, I don't know if it came up, believer. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it came up, but yeah, thank you for liking my story. I thought it was a good story. Slow living. Yeah, slow traveling for living. Exactly. Because we're not the types. I think Mother Nature, Mother Earth needs us to root more. I was talking to somebody else, actually probably to the British guy, somebody, I don't remember now. We were talking about how Albania is very beautiful also, especially if you get out of the cities, but a lot of it is undeveloped and that it's just beautiful land, and hopefully it won't all be turned into high rises and stuff. I have heard there somebody who I guess has some Albanian friends have said there is some pushback. There are Albanians, of course, who are very happy about and they want the tourism. Again, it's not just Americans. Don't think it's just about Americans. They want to open up Albania more because they know that will build the economy. But there are also Albanians who are a little bit like, we're happy with it the way it is. So there is a divide. I, the ones who maybe are just like, let's just take our time or they don't want to lose their culture and their ways. Like, for instance, I think even like the swimming, you'll see some older men, they strip down. I mean, they're in their swim trunks, but you don't and they're at a part of the beach and they're swimming and you can tell this is their activity to really swim. They've been doing it for years and um you don't want this stuff that they're able to do taken away or overshadowed by tourists. Another quick example, where I am, the fishermen will come in with the fish and I'll see a whole group of Albanians in the morning. Like you can't even see them then. I just see the backs of people and I'm sure they're getting the fish because the fishermen just came in. I never even see that part. I see them out in their little boats, and then I see when the boats are back in and people gathering around them, and I can see talking and like gesturing and stuff. And so, I worry about at a certain point, maybe they'll stop the small fishermen and it'll become big fishing fleets, right? And then these men who this is how they make their living, they may not be able to continue their fishing. Or, guys, really fun for me, because again, as a New Yorker, this is really quaint to me. When we were driving to Himare, at least 4 times, we saw shepherds. So shepherds really do have a staff. They have a stick, and they're very tan. Their skin, is very weathered because they're out in the sun, and they're either with sheep or goats or cows. And sometimes we saw this one cow. I swear to God, we were on the highway. There was a cow on the highway. And I think the lady, if she's watching this, the lady who's in Skodra, she did that. She showed that in her video. I mean, it wasn't just like a local little dirt road. We were on a highway and there is this cow just like munching on the grass on the highway. And they're like, yeah, I think he's lost from his flock. And I'm like, will will the shepherd find him? Like what happens to a wayward cow? And their cows are much more lean than our cows. I did say to you guys that the beef that I've tasted tastes really good. I think because, yeah, they're not pumping their cows with hormones. Like if you've seen American cows, where I lived in the US, we had dairy, mostly dairy cows. Those cows are fat. They're big and they're just fat. These Albanian cows are like fashion models, they're muscle, they're lean, the cows that I've seen. But yeah, it's just nice when the shepherds they're on the you have to stop the car and just let the herd go by. And I love that. I think that's part of what many people like about tourism. But of course, then when it gets developed and the developers start making money, I just don't want people to lose their livelihood, and which obviously is probably already happening, right? It's nothing we can really do about it. Yes. Okay. Final thoughts, guys, because we're coming on 2 hours now. But the numbers had gone up because it takes YouTube a while to let people know. Let's see. 5,000 says, watching a few other channels in Albania, notice the cons can be pollution and smoking. Um, I'm not pollution. Some of that is seasonal pollution. I've heard that Tirana. I think Tirana can have air pollution that's pretty high. Guys, again, I'm very intuitive and I move against the flow a little bit. And so I went to Tirana. It wasn't full on. When was I in Tirana? It would have been March. So I think the pollution would come as it gets hotter. So I miss the pollution. I did not see pollution. It's a lot of trash. It's a lot of trash, um, roadside trash, trash in public places, because they haven't gotten that totally together yet. But I can see them getting ready for tourists, more trash cans literally being put out. It looked like they had tractored the beach again, because I made a video saying the beach was dirty, and I was told that was it cleaned, but then I walked again on a part of the beach, and you guys, the beach looked like a field, like it was rutted. So they didn't like level it. It literally looks like they just turned the sand around, they cleaned it, but they left it like that. Like just level it out. So I think it's an ongoing effort they're working on. Um, but I'm really told by the expat that has been here through the winter, she said it's the Albanians that are they will leave trash on the beach. It's not something that they're particularly concerned about. So it's not like it's tourists so much trashing the beach is what I'm hearing. And when I came here, there weren't any tourists, and the beach was just like plastic bottles and just random things, but they're working on cleaning it. Smoking has not been an issue for me. Great question, 5,000. If I see a cafe, which you mentioned earlier, it'll be a bunch of old men sitting around smoking. I don't go to that cafe. So what you'll find is these people who are talking about that, there are cafes that are more like local. These men, you can tell they've known each other for 25 years more. They've known each other for years. They're smoking, they're having their coffee or whatever. I actually do sometimes go to those, but not if they're I'll go to like an empty local one and just get my coffee and sit outside. So the smoking thing I think is spoken. Now, I'm here in a warm temperature where you can sit outside. I think twice I've been like, oh, there was smoke, and it was very brief. So the smoking thing I think is overstated, even when I was in Tirana. But maybe I would just be picky about where I go. Yeah. Again, the smoking is not inside, it's outside in cafes and restaurants, and I would sit at the edge where or if I see a smoker, I sit far away from them. So that has not been a problem. It really hasn't been a problem for me. There's just some things I don't want to miss, especially for a quicker visit. Oh, so what are you saying though? Yeah, if it's a quicker visit, you raise a great question. I have a problem. Again, these are channels that I love. I think a month, that's why I always say I've just been here a month, I've just landed. You can get first impressions but if you are looking to live here, I would watch people who, if possible, have lived in the town for some time, because this is what it finally dawned on me, and maybe it dawned on you guys already. And I want to make a video about this. A lot of the YouTubers are passing through. So what they're doing, for instance, with Tirana, they're showing you the highlights of Tirana. Oh, there's this. Oh, there's that. Oh, there's a spinning restaurant, which is great. But if you live there, how often are you going to go to the spinning restaurant? How often are you going to take a sky bridge? How often are you going to go to this, to see this castle? Because I'm going to tell you about a castle, which I recommend going to in the town of Himare. Absolutely beautiful, breathtaking. But so what I'm saying is it's not so much the YouTubers, but don't let your mind be like colored too much by, oh, wow, there's this and there's that, and there's a pretty bridge. What is it to live in the place? And that's what I'm saying. I'm watching YouTubers talk about the highlights of a place, which if you live there, you're not going to engage with those highlights very often. Quick example. If you live in New York City, you do not go to the Empire State Building. You don't care about the Empire State Building. You literally don't care. You don't care about the Statue of Liberty, right? They're great things to do in New York, fabulous things. The ferry around Manhattan, or, the Circle Line, like that's a big tourist thing. It doesn't matter when you live there. Those are completely unimportant to your daily life. You would care more about, if it use New York as an example, the subway. What's a subway like? Is it safe? How often does it run? Those are the things that are going to impact you. What about cabs? Are cabs expensive? What are rents? So you see what I'm saying? I'm just really realizing that a lot of the YouTubers that even I watched, they're giving you highlights. They're giving you a tourist view of a town that, while very nice, very picturesque, has nothing to do with your daily life. You really have to parse what they're saying and sharing. Okay. And that's it. On that note, there are 25 of you here. Again, remember, if you are a channel member, which is for women 50 and above, who are interested in slow traveling and or moving abroad, and you want a supportive community, a small community at this point where we can really talk and you can share ideas, You might need a travel buddy. Then click the join button, and we will meet tomorrow, probably 3 or 4 Albania time. But I will post it, and I'll post the link, and it'll be under community because you have to join, and then you're shown that. There are about 7 or 8 of us right now, and yeah, it's a diverse community. Um, and you are welcome to come in and share and listen and be supportive. And if that's you, and if you resonate with me, then I think that you will like the community. Okay, so now, oh shoot, it's 5:30. I think I'm supposed to be at dinner at 6:30, which I'm realizing it's still going to be hot. And I hadn't thought about that. So I'm definitely going to take a bus over there, um, and start just to get ready. All right. Is there community for artists? That's a great question, but do you mean in Vlora specifically or in Tirana? Tirana is a big city, so I would say you could definitely find an artist community. And to be really honest with you, that's another thing that an expat told me. I mean, of course, I could have just Googled it, but I was like, an art supply store? Apparently, there are two in Vlora. There's one, I guess, that's maybe more bigger. And then the place I went to, I told you called Jumbo, that I thought was a toy store because it looks like a toy store. It's like all bright and I don't know, it looks like kids. They had quite a bit of like drawing supplies and art pencils and stuff. So I think it depends what town you're asking about. Oh, you're a musician. Well, yeah, that you're gonna have to do your research. I'm not a musician, so what I would do is look up Albania and music. And is it jazz? Is it hip hop? What is it? Is it R&B? Is it some world music? Google that, tap into that, find out are there clubs or people who do that type of music, and then just follow that trail, right? That's what I would do. Great. All right, guys. Oh, you can work teaching English. Yes, Jazz can. Somebody is telling you yes. Were you asking about that? I'll keep it on a little bit because there's a conversation going here that I don't want to interrupt. Yeah, I don't know teaching English in Albania, how much you'll make. There is a video of a woman, I think she's a Turkish woman, who she might be even the principal of the school though. And she's teaching English. So I think if you get in a school, and certainly you could teach privately to like business people or, professionals who want to improve their English, or maybe want you to train their staff, because that's something I'm definitely think that I could see that. I don't think you'll make a lot of money because the salaries in Albania, the pay scale is going to be very low. So I tell most of you either have money from working abroad, working online, retirement or savings, or start a business if you are, you have that ample and that ability to start a business, maybe more catering to expats. um yeah, TEFL, I'll put that up on the screen. Yeah, TEFL. But again, for Albania, I don't think you make very much. I really, really don't. um so I wouldn't count on getting a job in Albania. I'm not the only one saying that. Just like in the US, think about it. What do immigrants get great jobs? Not typically, unless they're like tech geniuses, and then even then, some people are angry at them, right? They're very specifically trained, but that pisses off some Americans. So, oh, you're taking American jobs. It's the same way in other countries. A lot of these countries don't want you to come and take a job that an Albanian could do or a Frenchman could do, unless you have such a specialty, right? Trace. Trace. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Trace is saying something here. Yeah, I just saw your comment. Um, yeah, I would like it to be open because I do how do I put this? I think some YouTubers for views not lying, but I think most people I know, I don't know if I should say that way. Yeah, I think it's good to have a diverse group. And I say that because, again, when you're abroad, if you are a Black person or a person of color, it's nice to have a subgroup that really has your back, but also can tell you about things like, oh, we're not treated well here. Okay. So for some of you, that's going to trigger. It shouldn't, because I'm really saying that, um, you know, you, in some communities, we need to know if there's a particular treatment that we're going to expect and we're going to have. But at the same time, to that, when you're an expat, whether you're in Vietnam or whether you're in Albania, the fact that you're American or whatever your nationality, if you're a Brit and if you're a Black Brit and you meet somebody who's British who's white, the fact that you're British, what I have seen is what's going to bring you together, and that you speak English. So I'm kind of saying both. If you are in a subgroup, like if you're a trans person or, you're gay, you want to know how your subgroup is treated, and of course, you want community in your subgroup, but then you're also going to interface with people from your country, and often language is the unifier. Like I said, I became friends with this guy, very different than me, complete different age, everything. We wouldn't normally have spoken, but because of the English, he even said to me, he goes, "You're the first person I've spoken English to in like 10 days." And so I was like, "Oh, wow, really?" And so that's what's beautiful, is that it's going to unify you very often. Of course, there will always be people who maybe are not comfortable crossing any sort of lines, but that's not me particularly. And I think especially when you're out in these international streets, as I like to say, like I said, you will. Years ago, 20 years ago, to wrap up this story, I was with my friend Kenny, um, who has passed away, as I told you. He was like a brother to me, but we had traveled to Italy and we met an American couple who I'm sure normally we wouldn't have talked to. But it turns out they were from the same area of Detroit. He was from actually a very fairly upscale part of Detroit, and they were from the area. And, they were white, right? And he and I Black, and they were clearly, clearly hungry to talk to an American and to speak English. And we both afterwards were like, "That was so funny," because the fact that we were Americans in Italy is what brought us together. Because, like, if we were passing at the mall, we probably wouldn't have spoken, that they wouldn't have spoken to us, we wouldn't have interacted. But the fact of the commonality becomes more important when you're abroad. And so I think that's beautiful. And that's one of the things about traveling, and also meeting people of different backgrounds and being open to them. So, you know, that's that. So, yes, try the TEFL, but don't expect to make a lot of money. Oh, Patricia, great. Great, great, great. You got your, maybe I'll interview you, Patricia. Patricia, reach out to me at assistant at in the flow. This is the assistant at in the flow of magic.com, because that's the one I have. Yeah, maybe we can do an interview, because you have been in Vlora. I was thinking of doing for all my audience, because as I say, it's for women 50 and over, and all those who support women, who have moms, who have sisters, who have wives, who want to hear women's stories. So you're also welcome. But I'm primarily talking to women who are traveling solo. I wanted to do almost like an Albania summit, which, I mean, I'm new in Albania, but I saw it as an area that's not, where women who are solo in Albania talk about their different towns. So maybe you could represent Vlora. So that might be cool. Yeah, so reach out to me. We'll chat. We'll see. Um, I actually haven't heard back from the two other people I reached out to, and I think they don't check their emails, is the sense. Because one woman had agreed, and she's in Pogradak, and she's like, "That sounds great." I haven't heard from her. And she's like, "I want to do it." I emailed her, or I think I emailed. I have to check. And there's a woman in Tirana. So I want to have a panel of all different types of women talking about the different towns in Albania and what their experience has been. So like Pogradec, Vlora, Shkoder, Tirana, Durez, Saranda. Is that like six? I think that's like six. That's what I would love to do. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. Yeah. And that is fine. like I said, I think all spaces need to happen. I think sometimes you want a space that is singular, like if, I was going to give an example, but yeah, you want a space where you can talk about specific issues and then also um a general space, and I think both can coexist. So yeah, my space is open to all women over 50. And yeah, all right, we're going to end the stream. Thank you guys for the questions. Yep, more videos will be coming out. If you're watching from the replay, if you have questions, comments, put them below. Maintain decorum. Be nice. You can give feedback without, you will be banned if you are obnoxious. And actually, I literally maybe one or two comments out of hundreds, or at least over 100, gotten a lot of comments. And gosh, the light is so nice, guys. This after the UK, you have no idea. The UK, I was just like, I gotta get out of here. This is why the Brits travel, and why they went to other parts of the world and took over, because, and I have said that when I was in Britain, I was like, I understand now, because in the winter, in that gray season, it is so gray in the UK. It is so drizzly. It is just so depressing that, yeah, they left. They left and they went other places. So, yeah, I'm gonna enjoy the sun and then head over for my dinner. Apparently, what I'm being served is tacos. The person is like a taco expert. I can tell because people who are like, they talk about what their sauce is gonna be, and he wouldn't mind me sharing this. It's a couple, but he's the taco guy, and he was saying that half his suitcase was taco spices, like literally taco spices. So it's interesting to see what people pack as crucial. I wanted to have a suitcase of books, and I was going to check it, but then I didn't want to travel around with it. I knew I couldn't handle two suitcases and a backpack. It would be too much for me. And I still stand by that. But this dude, yeah, said to me that his suitcase, one of the suit he had multiple suitcases, but one of them had just like chili spices and spices for tacos. So I'm going for tacos. I'll tell you how they are. And I was gonna make pork, and I says, well, really more of a bean person. And so they're gonna do bean for me, bean, and I'll have maybe a little sprinkle of pork on it or something with some special sauce. So it should be nice. And I'm realizing now that I will be home before dark. It's like Cinderella or something. I'll be home before dark because if dinner's at 6:30, yeah, probably about 8:30. So, and sunset here, guys, I think is around 7:20 now, I think. So, yeah, it'll be fine. All right. Mwah. Love you guys. Bye from the Quiet Broad Abroad. And remember, channel members, broads over 50. I've always wanted to say that. Broads over 50. We meet tomorrow, and it'll be either 3 or 4 Albania time, but I'll post it in the community. Once you join, you go to the homepage of my channel and you'll see it says community, and then you'll have access to see community posts, and you'll find the link and everything in there. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna let the sun just affect and heal me, take in the rays, and head out for the tacos. See you later, guys. Bye.